This video is called Monitoring Your Social Media Use. In the last couple of years, people just didn't watch TV anymore, they also used social media. I think it all started pretty much with MySpace, then Twitter came around, Facebook came around, then of course Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope, Meerkat, Peach, all of these platforms. And at some point, we spend so much time on social media that we don't even find time anymore, for example, in order to spend it with our family or, for example, to practice our hobbies. And I think this is a big problem. And in this video, I want to talk with you about how you can monitor your social media use and how you can become 10 times more effective in real life. Now, the problem is that in the last couple of years, people, of course, already spend a lot of time on social media, but it has never been as much as right now. And you will see that in just a couple of moments because then I will show you a couple of statistics. So the one thing that I'm really concerned about is not the social media, that we become less social. It is simply the time that we spend on social media. For example, in the 1980s, people spent around 4 to 5 hours every single day watching TV. That was normal. But today, people spend that time plus even more time, for example, on their smartphone. So people don't watch as much TV anymore, but they're watching or consuming much more content via their social media platforms. So how many hours do you think people actually spend on social media? To give you the statistic, people spend on average 5.2 hours a day on social media. That is then over 1,800 hours per year. Just think about that. That is around 1,800 hours every single year that you're spending on social media. And let's think about that, for example, in life terms, because some of us started with social media, let's say at the age of 15, other at the age of 12, other at the age of, let's say, 20, 30, perhaps even 40 if you are part of the older generation. So when we think about that for a teenager, for example, they have like 50 years. Those are then like tens of thousands of hours that they spend on social media. I think this is quite sad because in that time they could have done much more. So 1,800 hours is already quite a lot, but let's see that in different numbers from a different kind of perspective. So let's say that we value our time at $1,000 per hour. And you think now, well, $1,000 per hour, that is a lot of money. But for example, in my case, I make around $1,000 an hour with what I'm doing. For example, creating online courses, talking with clients, meeting up with clients, talking with my team members, for example, getting new clients into the company, all of these things. In the end, that is basically $1,000 per hour that I'm making in the long term. So every hour that I spend in my business, I actually make around $1,000. So for me, that is basically like missing out on $1.8 million every single year if I would be spending 1,800 hours on social media and if I would spend these 1,800 hours per year not on social media but rather on my business, then I would be missing out on $1.8 million every single year. So just like you track things like calories, we should also be tracking your social media. And I want to give you a couple of hacks here. So tracking social media is in my mind very important for you to understand how much time you're spending on social media. Because that one time, it actually was many years ago, I think 4 to 5 years ago, when WhatsApp was really popular, and of course it's still popular, but at that time it came out and everyone was on WhatsApp and people started texting a lot. And at that time, a good friend of mine who's like a computer genius, he basically asked me, Leon, how many minutes do you spend every single day on WhatsApp, and how many times do you log in? And I said, well, I think today I logged in like 3 times and spent, let's say, like 20 minutes. And he was like, no, I tracked you because I monitored like when the kind of online little writing kept popping up, and he measured that with like some kind of code that he wrote, and he said, no, you weren't online like 3 times and you weren't online for 20 minutes. You were online actually 18 times and you were online for 2 hours and 32 minutes. And I was like, no way, that is not possible. And then he showed me actually the data tabs, and they proved that I was that long on that day on WhatsApp. And I think we had that talk at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I already had spent like 2.5 hours on WhatsApp. And I was like, I cannot believe this. This is impossible. And he monitored it, and it was quite fascinating. So the problem was, of course, that I spend a lot of time on social media. And that's why I don't try to spend that much time today anymore. I use two tools in order to track myself. The first tool is called Rescue Time, and the second tool is called Toggl. Actually, when you watch this course, you will see a guide to Toggl in one of the later videos. So I used these two softwares in order to track myself. And I imposed a couple of rules. So my first rule was I don't want to spend more than 30 minutes per day on Facebook. And until today, I don't spend more than 30 minutes a day on Facebook, and I don't even need to track myself, because at some point, and actually after the election or during the election, I became like so tired of Facebook that I kept being on Facebook. So the interesting part about that is I still have my account. I'm still managing my account. I'm still managing also ad campaigns on Facebook, but I'm not spending more than 30 minutes a day on Facebook. Also, I imposed another rule on myself, and that one is I don't want to spend more than 5 minutes a day on WhatsApp. And of course, this is really critical, because at that time, a couple of years ago, I spent around 3 to 4 hours every single day on WhatsApp, because I thought I had to reply to my clients all the time. And now, because I'm only 5 minutes a day on WhatsApp, I'm replying very, very quickly and with very short text messages. Sometimes that is not very satisfying to people who work with me, but I'm always on the point. I don't write about things like long text. I write very quickly, very short sentences. Also, I have another rule, and that is basically that I don't want to spend more than 10 minutes a day writing emails. And that is the one thing that made the biggest difference for me, because normally I would have spent around 2 to 3 hours every single day writing emails, and today I take every day 10 minutes, and in those 10 minutes I really focus on the emails and write extremely quickly. That's why just a couple of days ago, actually, my mail provider blocked me, because the mail provider thought I would be a robot. But anyway, so I spend 10 minutes every single day writing my emails, and I can just give you the advice that when you do that 10 minutes every single day and you really focus on them, you can get things done that you normally would have gotten done in, let's say, like 2 hours or 3 hours, but now in 10 minutes, because you're taking the time and really focus on the emails. That is your main task. So I can just give you the advice. Have some safe self-imposed rules. These rules, you must stick to them, and every single day you must track yourself. You can track the time that you're spending, for example, on Facebook, WhatsApp, or when writing emails, simply by using Rescue Time or by using Toggl. If you want to know how to use Toggl, you can actually watch one of the videos. Actually, I think it's in the end here of this course, and then you'll see how Toggl works. So I'm really excited again for the next videos, and if you have any questions, you can text me at any given time in the Udemy Q&A section, and I'll be answering you in the next 6 to 12 hours.